Hey trucking fans, Truckin' Joe here, and I want to tell you guys a little bit of a story about me and my son, Joe. Now, this story does relate to trucking, but it needs to be said now. A couple weeks ago, my son and I decided to have a race. Now, my son is very athletic. He's 14 years old, he plays football, he does track, he does all these things. And lately, he's been beating me in races. We have like a weekly, monthly, or whatever race outside. You know, like a little 50 meter, 100 meter dash. I used to be able to beat him. Not no more. But this time it was a little bit different. It was a little bit different because football practice for him just started. So it was like his first week that he was training for his football team. You know, going out there, running, squatting, whatever they were doing. So I was like, all right, he is very sore. Now, if there's ever going to be a time nowadays that I have a shot, a chance, an opportunity to beat my son out in a race, now's the time. So I challenged him to a race. He said, sure, let's go. I said, all right. This kid, walked out barefoot. I think he had slippers on, flip-flops. And he walked out with flip-flops. I was like, dude, you gotta put shoes on? He's like, no, Dad, I'm good. I'm like, good, huh? That's interesting. All right, whatever. Let's go. So we go down at the end of the street where we normally, take off the race. My daughter's out there, my wife is out there. And then I noticed that he took his flip-flops off, and I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm too tired, I'm going to run barefoot. I'm like, you sure? You're going to cut up your feet? And that and the other. He's like, Dad, don't worry about it. Alright, whatever, your feet, his feet gets caught up. Lesson learned. I'm a big teacher of father. Way I father is let them learn their own lessons. He'll learn eventually. He'll get hurt, maybe, I hope not, but if he does, lesson learned. That's how I learn. That's how I'm sure my father learned, and his father before him, and blah. So whatever, so I was like, all right, let's do this. Meanwhile, I stretched out a little bit, I had my, workout outfit on, had my running shoes all ready to go. Said, go. Boom. Him and I take off. So we go running. And after my first stride, this kid was already, at least 2, maybe even 3 strides ahead of me. Are you kidding me? By the time he finished the race, I was maybe a third of the way done. And I'm like, and he was just like, come on, Dad, let's go. I was like, son of a, Now, I know that I've been kind of letting myself go. A little bit. Tiny bit. A lot of it, okay? I get it. I haven't really been working out. It's a little difficult for me because I'm always on the road. But then it dawned on me, I do have to eventually start getting into somewhat shape. If not for me, if not for my job, then, or my family, then at least to beat my son in a sprint. That's my goal. So, how do you do that? You're on the road. You're sleeping in only God knows where, in rest areas and truck stops. It's not exactly there's a gym in any of these places. It's not exactly you can go out for a jog when there's cars going by back and forth, trucks going by back and forth. You're going to get hurt. They're going to run you over. And then you don't have to worry about it because you'll be heaven or the other place. So what I started to devise a plan, an idea that I'm going to start implementing soon, once I get everything that I need, is to go ahead and work out while being on the road. Now, for me, for trucking in general, everyone needs to go ahead and get that medical card. It's federally mandated to go ahead and get this medical card. You got to be cleared by the doctor. Your blood pressure has to be low enough, or you're on some sort of blood pressure meds. You have to be able to see, hear, and a bunch of other things. And if you fail, or if you don't pass for whatever reason, then they can actually take your CDL license away. They go tell the DMV, and then you're suspended until you're better or find another career. I mean, that's pretty much it. That's why you don't really used to see a lot of fat, large, obese, corpulent people as truck drivers. You don't really see as many of them. You still see some of them, and then you wonder how they even pass. You think their twin, who works out every day, did it for them. I think so too for those guys. But it is possible, I guess, to be large and still be able to pass, ironically enough. I know people like that. It's very athletic, very large, very obese, and yet they can still, they're still strong as an ox. So it is possible. And semi-healthy. Genetics, I wish I had them. Anyways, long story short, so it's very important to work out so you can go ahead and keep your CDL. You can go ahead and keep your job. So you can go ahead and do this till you're, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65. I mean, one of my trainers was like in his early to mid 60s. And he was out here doing this. And I do flatbed. So, it's a little bit different than, the van trailers. You're out there, you're securing your load, you're doing straps, you're doing chains, you're lifting heavy things, and you're out there in the rain, you're out there in the snow, you're out there in the sleet, you're out there in the hot, right now it's summertime, it's like 90-something degrees out, and you're out there in the heat, dripping sweat, securing your load, making sure everything is good. So it can be very physically demanding. It's not, at least for flatbed and lowriders and other stuff like that. It isn't exactly, you get up in a truck and drive. We do other things as well. Some people are touching there, no freight. Kudos to you. Kudos to you. Personally, I like to get my, a little bit more hands-on, which is why I personally like flatbedding. And it is like a little miniature workout, I guess. But it's not really anything substantial enough to get you into better shape than what you're already at. And the better shape you're at, that you can get yourself into, the easier those chains are going to feel when you lift them up. The easier it is for you to ratchet everything down and to move the binders and everything back and forth. So my way of trying to get healthy, which I haven't done yet, but I'm going to soon, hopefully, is to go ahead and work out. Now I've been doing a little bit of research here on the internet, this, that, and the other, about what you can do. Most of it's your own body weight, to get out and do some push-ups, do some squats. I really don't know some of these people where you expect to do that when you're in a truck lot or whatever, but there is places where you can go. Like if you're at a truck stop or a rest area, there's usually like some grassy area around, you could do some push-ups. Me, I'm kind of a shy guy. I don't really like to announce where I'm at. I really don't like to go ahead and be like, woohoo, look at me, I'm doing a push-up, I'm doing some squats. No, that's not me. I'm very shy. So shy that when I am in social gatherings, my wife likes to call me socially awkward. That's me, in a nutshell. So I don't really personally like to do that. When I do work out, I like to be, at the privacy of my own home. I have a yurt where my workout equipment is. When I was at home a lot more, I would go in there. It's an enclosed, no one can see me. I don't need to see anybody else, I have a stereo in there, and, I handle my business. Or I do it at home, inside the house, usually when no one's around. But that's just me being a shy guy. But then I started thinking that there are some things that you can do if you are able to overcome that shyness. These are a couple of things that I'm going to try to implement, and then I'll keep everybody updated to see if it's actually working or not. There are these yoga mats you can get. Very cheap. Walmart, Target, 5, 10, 15. I mean, you can spend a lot on them if you want. More kudos to you. Personally, me, I had like this black one that I bought like many moons ago. I'm going to bring onto the rig. And that way, when I do find like a little grassy area here where I'm out of everyone's way, you know, I can do those push-ups, those body weight exercises and stuff like that. You know, sit-ups, squats, lunges, you know, things like that to get my heart pumping. Even if it's a little bit, even if it's only like 10 minutes a day, you know, just a little bit something, you know, that focuses on certain body parts or whatever. So maybe if I'm not getting into better shape, maybe I'm getting into, you know, maintaining where I am, where I'm not falling off because I sit down all day at work, more or less, you know, until I have to secure or insecure or like move 150-pound tarps around. I'm just sitting down. So a little bit extra is always a bonus. I did, however, bring a jump rope. Now you can do that in place. It's good for your cardio. It's just as good as running. Like I said, in these parking lots you really can't run, so I will be eventually doing, you know, jumping rope. Probably before I start my runs. I usually start my runs as early as I can. Earlier in the morning, the better. If I am going to work out, less people around, less people will see you, notice you, and you can still get the workout, you know, that you want, 10 minutes, 5 minutes, or whatever. I usually leave like very early, like the earlier the better for me. Sometimes I leave at like midnight, at 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning, 3, 4, you know, at the earliest that my ELD says I can go, I'm gone, because I want to get to the place either on time, early, so I have time to start unsecuring, like at least at the bare bone minimums, undo some of the bungees and everything. If I'm in an area where I can do more, awesome. You know, so I did get a jump rope that I haven't used yet, but I'm going to. There's like this little gadget you can get for like $10-15 again at Walmart or wherever, called the Perfect Push-Up, you know, to do some sort of variations and stuff like that. There are smaller devices that you can bring that will fit in a rig. Now I know space is like real estate, you know, before this craziness of 2020, you know, very valuable. But with a little bit of creativity, you can find, you know, smaller objects, you know, put them down underneath the seat, you know, underneath your bunk or whatever. So this is like going to be my journey that's going to help me get in better shape, so I don't keep on looking around this dad bod, because this dad bod is looking more like a fat bod than a dad bod, if you know what I'm saying. And hopefully, fingers crossed, I can show my son I still have it. So that's it right now. Check back with me in another 2 weeks. I'll come out with another video, maybe a little bit more of an update about what's going on. And as always, keep on trucking on.